We are in a golden age of Mirror's Edge speedrunning. I mean, we've got a flurry of activity that we haven't seen since 2016. We've got runners coming back who haven't touched the game in over 5 years. And there are new techniques that are being found that are saving a previously unimaginable amount of time. All of this started in 2019 when the any percent leaderboards were stagnant. Speedrunner Votium became the any percent champion in mid-2019 and eventually became the only person to achieve a sub-27-minute run in late 2021. He was the champion for over 3.5 years, and for good reason. Nobody could touch him. Very few even wanted to try.
It was just me. Just me from, I'd say, 2017 to about, I guess, mid-2021 point. There was pretty much no one else except me.
His run was extremely optimized. It was literally described to me as the God run.
Votium was like in a league of his own. No one tried to beat him even. No one thought it was possible.
However, during his time as champion, there was a groundswell of new players that were coming in thanks to the pandemic. And there were in fact 2 runners that the history books would prove to be the most valid contenders for the top spot. Let's start with Silver. Now, to most, Silver was a newcomer. Nobody had really known much about him until late 2020, when he joined one of the community-organized races. But in reality, Silver had been actually silently speedrunning the game since 2014, which is more than most people. He is an extremely talented runner, but he has one quirk. He doesn't run the game very often. He spends most of his time practicing smaller sections of the game over and over again, and then probably getting a personal best on his first attempt of a full run. By the time Vo had gotten his legendary sub-27-minute run, Silver was actually improving his PB by quite a bit in the previous months.
Votium had his 26:50 something, and that was like the God run. Like, no one was even close, and then like Silver just got close. And he just like stuck there for so long. And his run was bad. And I mean, like, I don't mean it like the way they say it, oh, my run is bad. I mean, his run was bad.
And so if Silver's PB was a quote-unquote bad run, you can imagine what he would be capable of with a good one. However, hot on the heels of both Vo and Silver at this point was Phoenix. Phoenix was an actual newcomer to Mirror's Edge. He submitted his first run in April of 2021, and within 8 months had gotten his PB down to just under 29 minutes, which is an extraordinary improvement for somebody so new to the game.
The one thing I think that I have found I'm usually quite good at is just picking up things when I have someone who knows how it works explain it to me. I can ask someone about a strat they're doing, and usually I can pick it up quite fast, and I think that helped me learn the game pretty quickly.
He wasn't afraid to ask questions or workshop problems or borrow techniques from other players. Most importantly though, Phoenix had a friend to learn from, and his name was Silver. The story that was told to me is that these were 2 very good friends constantly working off of each other, improving their PBs over time, and hopefully eventually getting to a world record. 2021 was a year of rapid improvement for both of them, and the following year was really a refinement of that knowledge that they had gained in the previous one. And you might be thinking to yourself, what? An entire year to refine the techniques that they've learned? Well, take it from the runners themselves.
We have this like running joke in Mirror's Edge where we have optimized the game so much already that when you find stuff, it's usually just like a second or something. So if someone posts a strat that saves a second, everyone's like, whoa, huge. There's this like saying we have where like the game's been milked dry. It's very rare that you find like some sort of strat that saves a bunch of time.
You'll find a lot of time save in anyone's Mirror's Edge runs. Boils down to movement because it is quite a complicated movement system. A lot of nuances. So yeah, the difference between a lot of people and a lot of times will just be how good your movement is.
If there is a new improvement to be found in your personal best, it is probably a 1 second or less time save. And so for the top runners, really what separates them is how many risky, small improvements are they willing to make in their run. And so that is exactly what Phoenix and Silver did. They got better and better at executing on their techniques consistently. And then, oh, wait a second. Who is this? A new challenger has arrived out of nowhere. It's Mr. Walrus. Okay, pardon the cheesiness there, but Walrus is a legendary figure in Mirror's Edge speedrunning. One person I talked to described him as the father figure of the community. Another person said that he was responsible for the onset of another golden age of speedrunning in about 2015-2016 when he first picked up the game and started running it. He spent over 200 days as any percent champion, and he was the person who made the speedrunning tutorials for this game that all of the newer players learned from. However, Walrus retired from the game in 2017, and he didn't really stick around. He didn't really participate in the community. He was busy being very good at speedrunning in other video games. Until this part of our story. Walrus came back out of nowhere 5 years since his last verified run, and PB'd in late 2022. By the start of 2023, all of a sudden, we have 3 people who are valid contenders for the any percent world record. Everyone I talked to said that at any point it could have been any one of the 3. They just needed to get one solid run in there. And, you know, Silver would pick away at it every now and then, whereas Phoenix and Walrus were streaming their attempts consistently. And finally, in April 2023, Silver got it with a 26:46. The second ever person to get a sub 27-minute run, 3.5 years of VOTM being the any percent champion, and Silver took the crown.
He could have gotten record probably like a year earlier than he did, but Silver isn't someone who really does runs a lot.
Silver was just like not doing runs. Like he was not grinding. He was practicing, sure, like he does that, but he was just like not doing any runs. But he was encouraging Phoenix. He was like helping Phoenix learn certain things, and they were discovering things together. And just messaged Silver like, "Hey, you should probably do runs." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, maybe tomorrow." And then that evening, he goes live. I think first run gets world record, and we were just like, well, yeah.
Unfortunately, Silver's time as champion would not last long, going for just over 1 month, when Phoenix would then take the record for himself. And he would actually dramatically improve the world record multiple times over the course of the next few months. But wait a second here. As of this recording, Phoenix has a sub 26 run, not a sub 27 run. So what could have possibly happened here that the legendary sub 27 from Vo has all of a sudden become an afterthought in the chase for sub 26? Okay, so I've spent most of this video telling you about what's going on at the very tippy top of the any percent leaderboards, but the reality is there is actually so much going on here, and there is so much depth in the Mirror's Edge community that is just fascinating to watch. And nothing exemplifies this more than the Mirror's Edge tournament. This tournament brought together the entire community, and it was the first of its kind in 3 years. However, far more importantly, it will forever be a huge event for the history of Mirror's Edge speedrunning, thanks to this moment.
What is Rek doing now?
This
has to be the new thing, right?
this is new canals, I guess.
I guess when you asked,
Comes back to the game, immediately finds two new. Oh,
you've got to be kidding me!
Oh.
Wow.
Holy shit!
Oh my God.
What is that? What the fuck?
That's not...
Okay, let me break down what's going on here and why everyone is reacting so strongly. The person on the right is Rek. He is another legendary figure in Mirror's Edge. He's been running the game forever. He's a multi-time any percent champion. And if you don't know where exactly a technique comes from in this game, it probably comes from him. He's another example of somebody coming back to the game for the first time in a long time thanks to this tournament. And, you know, if you watch the videos, everyone was just excited to see him. And it turned out he actually came with a gift. So the moment that they're reacting to here is a new skip that was found by Rek and another runner by the name of Tacos, which is actually an improvement on a previous skip called Canal's skip. Or kind of amusingly, it was also informally referred to as cannoli. The simple explanation here is that you get yourself out of bounds, you die, and then when you reset the checkpoint, it advances you much farther into the game, because the game thinks that you died in a different spot than you actually did. This new version of cannoli ended up saving around 10 seconds compared to their first, and so with this better version, they renamed it to Taco Noli, named after the runner. That's very nice. But hey, that's not all. Rek debuted another skip in this tournament as well.
What?
That-
He just jumped to the right of the...
Okay.
Oh.
What is Rek gonna go for here?
Ooh!
What?
Oh! What?
The new swing!
Well,
What
that
the fuck?
seemed
Normally, in this section of the game that you see here, you have to do a bunch of platforming to get up high into the air. But as you can see at this moment, they found a way to just fling themselves up super fast. Now, I'm not going to give you a full breakdown of what's happening here, it's kind of technical, but the basic explanation is that the game is storing the player's most recent jump position, that is the Z coordinate, and then the runner is manipulating that memory to reset, so the game thinks that they are at a different height than they are. They called this skip specifically Flingboard, and it saves them about 6 seconds. So with the combination of both Taco Noli and Flingboard, they saved a whopping 15 to 16 seconds. 15 seconds, I mean, that's huge for this. This is something that hasn't been done in years. And it turned out that this was actually just a precursor to an even larger find. And this one is really wild. So on October 14th, many of the runners I told you about today, and many others who I didn't, were at a marathon event for a relay race. And 2 hours before they were scheduled to go on stage, they saw this message. And essentially what this message is evidence of an 18-second skip. And not only that, but it came from somebody who had never messaged in the Discord before.
This random fucking one message guy sends it when we're at a marathon. I remember, because I swear I was the one to see it, and I was like, oh, we found exit fling. And everyone was like, what? What do you mean we found exit fling? And people were like, wait, who? And I was like, I don't know, some fucking rando. And we thought it was fake for like 5 minutes. We thought it was fake, and then I think Silver lands it on like a PC, and we were all like, oh my god, it's real, and like it spread like wildfire. Like we went nuts.
The very basic explanation here is that normally when you play the game, you have to wait for an elevator to take you to the top of a large tunnel, and this person, Artery, just found a way to skip the entire elevator sequence by using the same tech that was used in Flingboard, which was that trick where I explained the height differences in the Z coordinate. And unfortunately, when they went on stage to do the marathon, they tried to show it off to the world and they weren't able to do it. But, I mean, just imagine yourself waiting to go perform this game, and one of the biggest skips of all time has just been, you know, thrown in there like it's nothing. Anyway, the big takeaway here is that altogether, there was a combined 35 seconds of time save found in this game in the last couple of months. I'm telling you folks, now is the time to be paying attention to Mirror's Edge. Old runners are coming back thanks to the community engagement events like this tournament. New runners are thriving thanks to those older runners coming back, and because of all this new tech that is being found. And if you're somebody that likes to pay attention to the champions, well, Silver could get the world record back at any time, and he told me that he wants it. Votium is running the game again after his god run was dethroned. And ultimately, everybody on the leaderboard now has 35 additional seconds to save. So who knows where else that leaderboard is going to go. A tremendous thank you to all of the runners who agreed to chat with me for this video. All of their information is in the description. And thank you for watching. Until next time, farewell.